Okay. Right. I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Shell Rock River Watershed District for April 13th, 2021. Leah, please call.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye. Okay, item number 2, public hearing. I will now open the public hearing for the Miller Tract Wetland Restoration or Wetland Restoration and IC and E Wetland Enhancement Establishment and Order. The public hearing was noticed in the Albert Lee Tribune on March 31st and on April 10th. In this virtual platform, public participants do not have any ability to talk or be seen on a video by default. As noticed, anyone who wished to address the Board of Managers or Administrator regarding this matter were instructed to submit comments in writing via email to andy.henschel@co.freeborn.mn.us no later than 4 p.m. Monday, April 12th, 2021. Did we receive any comments?
Mr. Chair and managers, no comments were received.
Okay. Courtney, would you please give us an overview of the project?
Yeah, excuse me. Yes, this project is located east of Alden, approximately 3 miles, and north of Interstate 90. It's a series of about 4 wetland restorations, each with tile breaks and berms that are creation. This project is dealing strictly with private tile at this time. We're calling it phase 1. Phase 2 is going to be where we modify the county tile system. So this is just dealing with the private tile. It is funded by Lessard Sam's Outdoor Heritage Council funding, and our engineer that we're working with is ISG out of Mankato. We are also partnering with U.S. Fish and Wildlife on this property to be able to seed the project and have a successful restoration.
Okay, is there any questions from the managers?
Mr. Chairman, I have one. Did the county board or the county ditch inspectors have a public hearing to notify all the landowners of the change in the county drainage system?
We will when we deal with a public portion of the tile. Right now, this is all private tile that's owned by U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And so when it comes to modifying the public system, we will be working with Freeborn County. I've been specifically working with Cody Fox, and their attorneys, Rinky Noonan, have this project started on file. So it will be going through the formal process and landowners will be notified.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Item 3, consent agenda. The following items will be acted upon without discussion in accordance with the staff recommendation and associated documents unless a manager requests opportunity for discussion. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Made by Manager Kramer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Manager, who is that?
Dan.
Dan. Is there any discussion? There's none. Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Oh, I think you're on mute.
Manager Delger.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 4, the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions that need to be made to the rest of the agenda?
Mr. Chair, we are under administrative items, item H. We're going to add a legislative update, and Judy will be giving that.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, what was item number 3 that I voted aye on? I just got here.
that was just the consent agenda.
Oh, good.
So you didn't, I would have let you, her read the whole thing again right away, but it was just a consent. All right. Let's see. Okay. Now you made me lose my place. Okay.
Good.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Do I do that yet?
So moved.
Okay, made by Manager Hanson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Manager Pastorius. Any discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski, and Manager Delger.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 5, Administrator Andy Henschel.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and managers. First item is item A is resolution 2021-7 MPCA CWP loan general obligation note offer. This is again applying for the clean water loan through the MPCA. So with that, Leah, if you want to read the resolution.
We'll wait.
Sure.
Well, motion first. Is there a motion to introduce resolution 2021-07?
So moved.
Made by Manager Bakken. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Made by Manager Pastorius. Leah, would you please read the resolution, or whoever's going to?
Yes. Resolution 2021-07. Be it resolved, the Board of Managers of the Shell Rock River Watershed District as follows. Section 1, recitals. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency is authorized pursuant to Minnesota statute, section 103F.701 through 103F.755 as amended, the Clean Water Partnership Law to provide loans to political subdivisions, including watershed districts in the state of Minnesota, to fund eligible costs of the construction of facilities necessary to protect, enhance, and restore surface and groundwater to prevent water pollution in the state through its Clean Water Partnership Loan. The district has applied for a loan from the MPCA pursuant to the program to finance a portion of the cost of the implementation of the district's project work plan for the Fountain Lake Restoration Project. The MPCA has offered to make a loan to the district in the amount of $1 million or so much as to be dispersed and repaid in accordance with the terms of the Clean Water Partnership Project Implementation Loan Agreement between the district and the MPCA in substantially the form set forth in Exhibit A attached hereto. The project loan agreement as executed is incorporated herein by reference. Pursuant to the laws 2005, First Special Session, Chapter 3, Article 5, Section 38, Subdivision 2, as amended by laws 2006, Chapter 259, Article 3, Section 6, as amended by laws 2017, First Special Session, Chapter 1, Article 5, Section 12, the City of Albert Lea, which are transferred to the district. The City of Albert Lea, Minnesota has imposed a sales and use tax. The proceeds which are transferred to the district for water quality improvement projects as detailed in the Shell Rock River Watershed Plan and as directed by the board, including without limitation, the Fountain Lake Restoration Project. Pursuant to section 103F.725 subdivision 1A G of the Clean Water Partnership Loan, the district is authorized to borrow money from the MPCA for the project and issue its general obligation note for the purpose of evidencing its obligation to repay the loan. Contracts for the project have been or will be made by the district with the approval of the MPCA and all other state and federal agencies of whom approval is required. In accordance with Minnesota statutes, section 475.60, subdivision 2-4, the district is authorized to issue obligations to a board, department, or agency of the state by negotiation and without advertisement for bids, and the MPCA is and has represented that it is a board, department, or agency of the state. Section 2, acceptance of offer, payment, denomination. The district hereby accepts the offer of the MPCA to purchase the taxable general obligation note, Series 2021, the note to be issued by the district in the original aggregate principal amount of $1 million, and to pay there for the payment, the par amount of the note as provided below, and the sale of the note is awarded to the MPCA. Payment for the note is to be dispersed in installments as eligible costs of the project are reimbursed or paid, all as provided in the project loan agreement. The note is to be issued in the original aggregate principal amount of $1 million, originally and nominally dated as of the date of delivered to the MPCA, as a fully registered note without coupons. The note will be in the denomination of the entire principal amount thereof, numbered R-1, and will mature in the anticipated installment amounts set forth in Exhibit B, attached hereto, subject to adjustment in accordance with the project loan agreement. So long as the repayments are made on time, the note shall not accrue interest. In the event that the district does not make its regularly scheduled payments, the note shall be subject to a penalty of 2% per annum on the principal balance owed commencing on the date repayment is due and continuing until the payment is received by the MPCA. The note is subject to redemption and prior payment as provided in the loan agreement. Principal in the installment amounts set out in the note are payable by wire transfer or if by check or draft of the district or its designated registrar, mailed the last business day prior to the payment date, each June 15th and December 15th, to the registered holder thereof at the holder's address, and it appears on the bond register at the close of the business on the 5th day, whether or not a business day immediately preceding the payment date. The district administrator is hereby appointed as the initial registrar, transfer agent, authenticating agent, and paying agent of the district with respect to the note. Section 3, date. The note will be fully registered, negotiable obligation date as of date of delivery and issued issued forthwith. The note shall be issued in substantially the form attached hereto as Exhibit B. Section 4, execution. The note is to be executed on behalf of the district by the manual or facsimile signatures of its chair and district administrator, and is to be authenticated by the manual signature of the administrator, acting as authenticating agent of the district. In the event of disability or resignation or other absence of any of such officer, the note may be signed by any officer who is authorized to act on behalf of such absent or disabled officer. If an officer whose signature will appear on the note ceases to be such officer before the delivery of the note, such officer's signature will nevertheless be valid and sufficient for all purposes, the same as if such officer had remained in office until delivery. The district administrator is authorized and directed to obtain a copy of the proposed approving legal opinion of Kennedy and Graven Chartered Minneapolis, Minnesota as bond counsel to the district, and to cause the opinion to be printed on or accompany the note. Section 5, delivery and application of proceeds. The note, when prepared and executed, will be delivered by the district administrator to the MPCA prior to any disbursements pursuant to the project loan agreement, and the purchaser is not obliged to see the proper application thereof. Section 6, the note and accounts. There is hereby created a separate fund for the district designated by the General Obligation Note Series 2021 Fund, held and administered by the district administrator, separate and apart from all other funds of the district. The district administrator will establish and maintain financial records of the receipts and disbursements relating to the project in accordance with this resolution. The note fund will be maintained in the manner specified until the note, any refunding obligations issued to refund the note, and any other general obligations hereafter issued and made payable from the note fund and the interest thereon have been fully paid. There will be maintained in the note fund, in addition to any accounts previously created, the following two separate accounts. A capital account to which will be credited all proceeds from the sale of the note. The note is the only source of money to be credited to the capital account. It is recognized that the sale proceeds of the note are received in reimbursements for costs expended on the project or in direct payment of such costs, and that accordingly the money need not be replaced in the capital account upon receipt, but may be applied immediately to reimburse the source from which expenditure was made. Money in the capital account is to be used solely for the purpose of paying for the cost of constructing the project, including all costs enumerated in Minnesota Statute Section 475.65 as provided, as such money may only be expended for costs and expenses which are permitted under project law agreement. Upon completion of the project and the payment of the cost thereof, any surplus is to be transferred to the debt service account. A debt service account into which are irrevocably pledged or credited sales tax revenues in the amount sufficient, together with all other legal available funds, to pay the principal of and interest, if any, on the note when due. All funds remaining in the capital account after completion of the project and payment of the cost of the project. All collections of taxes which may hereafter be levied for the project of the principal of and interest, if any, on the note. All investment earnings on money held in debt service account and any amounts authorized under the Clean Water Partnership Law, and any other money to which is properly available and is appropriated by the board to the debt service account. The money in this account may be used only to pay or prepay the principal of the note and to pay interest, if any, on the note, and any other obligations hereafter issued and made payable from this account. Section 7, General Obligation Pledge. The full faith and credit and taxing powers of the district will be and are irrevocably pledged for the prompt and full payment of the principal of and interest on the note as the same respectively become due. If the balance of the debt service account is ever insufficient to pay all principal and interest, if any, then due on the note, and any other obligations payable therefrom, the deficiency will be promptly paid out of any other funds of the district which are available for such purpose, and those other funds may be reimbursed with or without interest from the debt service account when a sufficient balance is available in that account. Section 8, certification of county auditor treasurer as the debt service fund amount. It is found, determined, and declared that the sales tax revenues are sufficient in the amount to pay 105% of the principal of and interest, if any, on the note when due, and such revenues are pledged to the payment of the note, but solely to the extent required to meet with other pledged sources 105% of the principal and interest required of the note as the same become due. Sales tax revenues in excess thereof may be used for any proper district purpose. Section 10, certificate of county auditor treasurer as resignation. The district administrator is authorized and directed to file a certified copy of this resolution with the county auditor treasurer of Freeborn County, and is to provide certificate required by Minnesota statutes section 475.63. Section 11, project loan agreement. The provisions of this resolution relating to the note are intended to be consistent with the provisions of the project loan agreement, and to the extent that any provisions in the project loan agreement is in conflict with this resolution and as it relates to the note, that provisions control. The board hereby authorizes and ratifies the execution of the project loan agreement by the district administrator on behalf of the district. The project loan agreement must be attached to the note if the holder of the note is any person other than the MPCA. Section 12, records and certificates. Goodness. The officers of the district are hereby authorized and directed to prepare and furnish to the MPCA and to the attorneys approving the legality of the issuance of the note, certified copies of all proceedings and records of the district relating to the note and to the financial conditions and affairs of the district, and such other affidavits, certificates, and information as are required to show the facts relating to the legality and marketability of the note as the same appear from the books and records under their custody and control, or as otherwise known to them, and all such certified copies, certificates, and affidavits, including any heretofore furnished, are to be deemed representations of the district as to the facts recited therein. Unless litigation has commenced and is pending questioning the note, taxes and revenues pledged for the payment of the note or the organization of the district or the incumbency of its officers, the chair and the district administrator are hereby authorized and directed to execute and deliver to the MPCA at the closing a suitable certificate as to the absence of material litigation, and the district administrator is authorized and directed to execute and deliver to the MPCA at the closing a certification as to payment for and delivery of the note. Section 13. Designation of project representative. The board hereby designates the district administrator as the person responsible for representing the district in all matter, here we go. In all matters in accordance with the terms of the project loan agreement, do not specifically require action by the district. The board hereby designates the district administrator as a person responsible for executing all requests for disbursements of the loan under the project loan agreement on behalf of the district. Section 14. In any section, paragraph, or provision of this resolution, it is to be invalid or unenforceable for any reason. The validity or unenforceability of such section, paragraph, or provision will not affect any of the remaining provisions of this resolution. Headings in this resolution are included for convenience only, reference only, and are not a part hereof, and do not limit or define the meaning of the provision hereof. Andy, would you like me to continue?
Yeah, just that last little bit, last three sentences.
The motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by, and upon vote taken thereon, the following managers voted in favor of the motion and the following voted against, whereupon the resolution was declared duly passed and adopted.
All right, I know that was a long one.
Yeah.
Probably a record for us as far as resolution length. Thank you, Leah. Again, so just again, some feedback on this. This again is the clean water loan agreement that we have with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. Just to give you a little background on repayment. Repayment is scheduled to start on December 15th of 2024 of $50,000. And then we have another payment. Two would be on June 15th of 2025. And we would keep making two payments per year. And that would go until June 15th of 2034 if we do not pay extra and take the full 10 years of repayment. So again, there is no interest. Interest is zero for this loan. So I think that is a huge benefit to the district and to the Fountain Lake Restoration Plan.
Okay, with that, do we have any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Manager Bakken.
I'd like to thank the staff and Andy for putting all this together. I know it's a lot of work. It's vital to finishing our dredging this summer. And I appreciate all the time and effort they put into it. Thank you.
I agree with Manager Bakken. Is there any other discussion?
So when the dredge committee says finishing the dredging this summer, that means the contract that's currently floating on the lake?
That is correct. It helps us get through the finishing of what we call phase 2 of the project.
So what happens if the legislature all of a sudden goes south on us?
Then we would have to wait until the legislator approves bonding funds to move forward with what we are calling phase 3 project, Fountain Lake Restoration Project, which includes everything basically east of where we will end, which is pretty much straight out from the Bancroft Bay Channel. And then would also have to wait on the Bancroft Bay Channel area and back into Bancroft Bay.
So the channel is not going to get done.
Not in phase 2 and will not get done until we move forward with phase 3.
And this loan is paid back with sales tax?
Correct.
Okay,
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
aye,
Manager Pasuski, Manager Delger.
Aye. Resolution 2021-07 passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, to follow up, item B, looking for a motion to approve the MPCA's CWP loan agreement. Again, this is just the loan agreement that finalizes the agreement between the Shell Rock River Watershed District and the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, as follows: the loan agreement payback schedule and all of the other obligations with the loan.
So moved.
Motion motion from Manager Pistorius. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Manager DeBoer. Any discussion? Hearing none. Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
aye,
Manager Delger.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. Item C is a Fountain Lake Restoration Project bonding update. I'm going to turn this one over to Judy here as well. And then I'm going to let Judy talk under H about the LCCMR LSOHC requests that we have out there. So Judy, if you'd like to follow up on that.
All right, good morning, everyone. The House bonding bill was released on Sunday night, and it's a bill on the small side. It's a $500 million in general obligation bonds. It has literally only a dozen very small local projects in it. It is heavily weighted towards asset preservation and state agencies. And therefore, we are not in this bonding bill. We are having meetings this week again with Senator Dornick and Representative Bennett. The first bonding bill of the year is always last weekend. When we were working on it, we were trying to figure out where we were and what the path forward would be. I'll just say, this has been a long haul for all of us, and this bonding bill in the off season traditionally is smaller. We've made a really good case as to why it's so critical for this project to be included this year. this is the first step in the bonding process this year. It is no means the end of the bonding process this year. We will keep working away at it and see if we can't get into the bill in some manner. Andy's done a great job of pulling together some detailed information showing kind of what we would need to keep the project, to keep the dredge in the lake this summer. And so we'll just keep working away at it. But I again don't have the news that you all wanted to hear this morning. So that's, and the Senate hasn't done anything yet. The Senate will wait for the House. And the reality is we probably won't see any final action on anything until about May 15th. And many of us are also expecting special sessions to occur this year, that it'll be really difficult for them to adjourn by May 17th and get all the work done that they need to. And bonding is usually one of the last pieces in the overall puzzle that comes together. So we've got a few months yet to keep working away at this.
All right, any questions for Judy on the bonding? All right, Mr. Chair, I'll move on to item D is the Fountain Lake Restoration Project update. For those that don't know, Brennan will start back up April 19th, which is next week. We have worked with Brennan and also with the Minnesota DNR Fisheries to go within some of those areas, spawning areas, which we have a date that we can't enter until June 15th, but we have some small areas that we'd like to get the dredge in before that to keep some consistency going with the dredging route. We were granted those infringement areas, I believe, late last week. So again, they'll be starting in those areas. That will also help with some of the dock spaces that we can potentially have some impacts on. So we won't have impacts on those dock spaces for a whole year. We'll try to get them dredged right away this spring, so then the renters can get their docks put in those areas. So it was nice to get those. Again, we do have some additional yardage yet in Danes Bay. I believe we have roughly 36,000 cubic yards yet to dredge in Danes Bay. We also have about 250,000 yards to go in the main bay. Brennan is believing they will be done somewhere around mid-August. So again, that was kind of the crucial timing to keep them moving here into phase 3, and the reason for the big push on our end for bonding here in 2021. But we'll discuss more of this at the workshop that we're planning here later in the agenda. Just a quick update, item E, the confined disposal facility cell 3 update. Again, with this update, as you know, we were having some issues with the contractor in building cell 3. However, we have now since sent our final plans to the DNR to allow us to fill cell 3. We did receive that approval here roughly 2 weeks ago to start filling cell 3. The way it sits right now, we can fill it halfway and then allow it to settle and see if there is any issues as we move forward. If there is none, then DNR will give us full access to fill cell 3. So similar to how we proceeded with cell 2, as far as filling it halfway, waiting 3 weeks to make sure everything was working correctly, and then again, allowing us to fill it completely. Any questions on the disposal facility? All right, moving to F. I'm looking for a motion to hire a summer intern If you remember last year, the board did approve to have a summer intern. However, with COVID-19 restrictions, we did not hire a summer intern last year. I am looking for a part-time summer intern for roughly 4 months, 20 to 24 hours a week. Looking not to exceed $6,000 in salary. So that'd be, half-time at about $12 an hour.
Okay, do I have a motion to hire a summer intern?
So moved.
Made by Manager DeBoer. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Or seconded by Manager Kramer. Any discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you, managers. And Mr. Chair, the last thing I have, well, second to last thing I have is schedule a workshop for the Fountain Lake Restoration Project Phase 3, along with the Headwaters property discussion. So I want to have some general discussion with the Board of Managers regarding the phasing of cell 3, depending on bonding, along with some other potential questions that I have received. Again, a lot of this is all dependent on the bonding bill being passed, but also will then direct staff in how we proceed with bonding the following year in 2022. I also want to have some discussions regarding the potential litigation that we have with cell 3 out at the CDF site, and give the board some updates on how that's going. And then thirdly, some discussion on the Headwaters property. This is the property that is adjacent to the 256 acres of the Headwaters property. This property was donated to the district, does have a house and a few, 2 garages and a lean-to on it. This is going to be, part of a discussion of what the district managers want to do with the property. As of right now, it's not really a benefit to us at this time. So just trying to get some discussion with the board of next steps with that property. The reason this is coming up is because the Ulands lease is coming up and will expire here in April. If those that don't remember, that's the 33 acres, which is part of the 256 acres that we will then turn over to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. And so I want to try to get all this stuff in that area figured out. So we will talk about that meeting here at the end of the agenda. So just stay tuned with that. Lastly, item H, legislative update. Judy, if you can give us a little bit of update of where we're at with our Lessard Sam's Outdoor Heritage and the LCCMR requests that we have in. Thank you.
Sure. All right, so we are at the midway point of the legislative session. And so last week and this week, all the omnibus bills have been put together. So the Lessard Sam's, our project is included in both the House and Senate legacy bills, and those are proceeding forward. There's a couple of things probably in the Clean Water Fund that will have to be negotiated out between the House and Senate, but the Lessard Sam's portion of that bill is in really good shape. So that should go forward. This year's been a little different. There's been some hiccups along the way, but not with legacy too much. The LCCMR package is a little bit of a different animal. Last year in 2020, they did not adopt the package from 2020. So there are 2 packages of LCCMR projects that are awaiting action, and they have been rolled into the House and Senate Environment Omnibus bills. And so our project is safely tucked away in those bills. The larger question is there's fairly large differences between the House and Senate in the environment budget and policy bills, and they're all rolled into one bill. So, you know, again, we're in a really good spot in terms of where we're placed. We are now subject, like many, to the larger political issues that will need to be resolved at the Capitol this year. I do believe this will all be done by June 30th because it is in the environment budget bill. And they generally don't like to close state parks on July 4th. So that's some leverage for the legislature to get at least this piece done before the end of the fiscal year. So those two projects are in as good a place as they can be. That, I guess that's the good news today, is all that good work that Courtney and you guys do on these issues seem to just have a lot of really good support at the legislature. So that's the update on those two things. Should be good.
Thank you, Judy. Any managers have any questions for Judy regarding those items? All right, if not, I'll turn it back over to you, Nick.
Yep, thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Item number 6, project and program manager Courtney Phillips.
Sorry, my items aren't very much shorter than what Andy's were, so I'll continue on with the long meeting. The first item I have is a resolution 2021-05, which is a plan approval for the Miller Track wetland restoration, the Orr wetland restoration, and the ICNE wetland restoration. The plans were sent out to you last night. We just got them from ISG. If you notice on them, they do say that they're not issued for construction. At this point, they are probably about 95% final. We wanted the board to be able to see these plans. We are expecting final plans by the end of this week. So if there are any changes, they would be very minor and not change the general scheme of the project plan. If you have the plans in front of you, if you look on page 7, you can kind of see what is proposed. We have 4 wetland basins that are going to be created. There's the orange is berms and the purple lines are swales. We also have multiple tile breaks on the Orr property, in which we purchased last year, and that'll be donated for Fish and Wildlife, or to Fish and Wildlife Service. So again, this project is a little bit complicated, but we have 3 different Lessard Sam's projects that are all working on a series of different parcels all right next to each other. So that's the meaning for the multiple names. If there is a first and a second, I will read the resolution.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Made by manager Hanson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Made by manager Kramer. Please read the resolution.
All right, resolution 2021-05, plan approval, Miller Track wetland restoration or wetland restoration and ICNE wetland restoration. Whereas the Shell Rock River Watershed District Board of Managers pursues the mission of implementing reasonable and necessary improvements to the water-related and other natural resources within its boundaries. Whereas the Shell Rock River Watershed District is charged with implementing the Shell Rock River Watershed District Watershed Management Plan. Whereas project goals and objectives set forth in the plan include improve water clarity and quality to district lakes, improve and enhance waterfowl habitat, maintain efficient system and reduce transport of sediment, nutrients and pesticides into surface water through the drainage systems, minimize flood damage to property and preserve the function of the floodplain, restore and retain water upstream throughout the watershed, preserve existing rural and urban wetlands, and encourage restoration and enhancement. Whereas the district has 3 projects with parcels located in close proximity to each other, and the overall scope of the work encompasses work and engineering over all 3 projects for a better cumulative result to accomplish wetland management and water flow. Whereas the 3 parcels are 1, Miller Track wetland restoration initiated on February 11th, 2020 by resolution 2020-02, 2, Orr wetland restoration initiated on November 10th, 2020 by resolution 2020-19, and 3, ICNE wetland restoration initiated on November 10th, 2020 by resolution 2020-20. Whereas the project plan encompasses integrated design plan and water flow and wetland management for all three projects, Miller Track Wetland Restoration or Wetland Restoration and IC&E Wetland Restoration. Whereas the Board of Managers, having reviewed the project plan and has determined that approval of the project plan will further the objectives of the plan. Whereas the district has pursued a comprehensive watershed approach to reduce sedimentation and improve water quality, including filter strips, rock inlets, nutrient management systems, water and sediment basin installations, rough fish management practices, installation of fish barriers, septic system inspections, stream bank and ditch restoration projects, and the installation of rain gardens. Therefore, the Board of Managers hereby finds that the project has the potential to promote the public interest and welfare, is practicable, and conforms to the watershed management plan as set forth above. Now therefore be it hereby resolved that the Shell Rock River Watershed District, Section 1, approves the project plan dated April 13th as presented by ISD, and Section 2 authorizes district staff to conduct work as needed to present this project to the board for final review and public hearing as required by law, dated April 13th, 2021.
That wasn't that bad. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer.
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye. Resolution 2021-05 passes.
And Manager Pasuski says aye too.
He's back.
Having Wi-Fi problems.
Thank you. The next item is Resolution 2021-06, Miller Track Wetland Restoration or Wetland Restoration and IC&E Wetland Enhancement Establishment. So I will read this resolution, and it gives us the authority to solicit quotes for this project that was stated above. So if there's a first and a second, I will read the resolution.
Do I have a motion for resolution 2021-06
Yes.
made by Manager Hanson? Do I have a second?
Second.
Made by Manager DeBoer. Would you please call or read the resolution, please?
I will. Resolution 2021-06, Establishment Projects for the three projects stated. Whereas the Shell Rock River Watershed District Board of Managers pursues the mission of implementing reasonable and necessary improvements to the water-related and other natural resources within its boundaries. Whereas the Shell Rock River Watershed District is charged with implementing the Shell Rock River Watershed District Watershed Management Plan. Whereas the district has three projects with parcels located in close proximity to each other, and the overall scope of the work encompasses work and engineering over all three projects for a better cumulative result to accomplish wetland management and water flow. Whereas the three parcels are: 1, Miller Track Wetland Restoration initiated on February 11th, 2020 by Resolution 2020-02. 2, Or Wetland Restoration initiated on November 10th, 2020 by Resolution 2020-19. And 3, IC&E Wetland Restoration initiated on November 10th, 2020 by Resolution 2020-20. Whereas the project plan encompasses integrated design plans and water flow and wetland management for all three projects, Miller Track Wetland Restoration or Wetland Restoration and IC&E Wetland Restoration. Whereas the Board of Managers, having reviewed the project plan and has determined that the approval of the project plan will further the objectives of the plan. Whereas the project plan was forwarded to the Board of Water and Soil Resources and Department of Natural Resources for their review and comment. DNR comments were received by a letter dated February 23rd, 2021, and Bowser comments were received on March 22nd, 2021. Whereas on April 13th, 2021, by Resolution 2021-05, the Board of Managers approved the specifications for the project, the final project plan. Whereas a public hearing was held on April 13th, 2021 to review the project plan. Therefore, the Board of Managers hereby finds that the proposed Miller Track restoration has the ability to promote the public interest and welfare in conformity with the watershed management plan as set forth above. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Shell Rock River Watershed District hereby, Section 1, establishes project number 2020-02 Miller Track Restoration, project number 2020-04 or Wetland Restoration, and project number 2020-05 IC&E Wetland Restoration. Section 2 authorizes district staff to complete the project as set forth in the final project plan, and authorizes the district staff to obtain quotes, requests for approvals, and enter into any other agreements or contracts necessary to complete the project, dated April 13th, 2021.
Okay, with that, do we have any discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, resolution 2021-06 passes.
Thank you. Next item is item C, which is a temporary construction easement for the stated projects above. There is a landowner that is surrounded by this property that we will be having to provide an outlet to one of the wetlands so that we have an outlet for the water to go. And as a result of that, we have to install a new tile from the outlet structure of this wetland into the county tile system, which we'll be maintaining for those upland landowners. As a result of this, we are going to have to trench up their driveway to get that tile installed. So this is the reason for the temporary construction easement. It'll just be a 2-year easement so we can get that tile line installed.
Is there a motion to approve the easement as presented?
So moved.
Motion made by Manager Hanson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Manager DeBoer. Is there any discussion?
Is there provisions for future maintenance of the tile? Or is it gonna be the landowners after the project?
I believe it is our responsibility to keep that tile functioning, or who we designate it to, which would be U.S. Fish and Wildlife, but I can double check the easement and get back to you
Okay,
for a maintenance provision.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. Item D is a motion to approve a Janice Owens waterway contract. Switching gears outside of the Alden area, and we are going back to the Pickerel Lake subwatershed. We have funding through our Bowser Targeted Watershed Funding Grant to be able to do wetland restoration work. If you remember, Janice Owens sold portions of her property to us and we did a wetland restoration project in the low areas. However, the upland areas are, they're seeing a lot of gully and erosion taking place, and we want to protect that water, our wetland. And so as a result, we do have funding to implement those waterways. And so this is a contract that's required by the state to be able to spend those funds on her property. So just looking for a motion to approve this contract.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Made by Manager Pistorius. Do I have a second?
Yep.
Made by Manager Hanson. Any discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye.
Manager Delger.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. Item E is a motion to award quotes for the foundation removal and a new driveway installation at the Church Lake property. We did set out 2 quotes. However, we only received one back in the amount of $10,016. This is for, if you remember when we had the garage removed, their only requirement was to remove from the foundation up. So there is a cement concrete pad that is out there. We will also be moving the driveway from its existing spot to a location that's more applicable for public parking, as that's going to be open to the DNR. And we are also going to be installing the parking pad, which consists of the square posts that you can't drive around, as well as the rock pad that you can park your car on. So looking to award a $10,016 quote for able to do that work with Wangan Excavating.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Made by Manager Pistorius. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Made by Manager Kramer. Any discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
aye,
Manager Delcher.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. Item F is a motion to approve J9 outlet project plans. These are, again, were sent out last night by Leah as we just received them. This also is going to be funded by our Bowser Targeted Watershed grant that we received. What's taking place is right where J9 outlets into kind of an open ditch that leads to Pickerel Lake. There's some head cutting that's taking place that keeps getting worse and worse. It's probably about a 6-foot drop, and it keeps eroding back. And so we are going to be fixing that, as well as about the last 50 feet or so. There's multiple sinkholes that are forming on the J9 ditch itself, tile. And so we are going to be replacing the last little bit as a repair. Otherwise, it's just grading back trees and then stabilizing that erosion that's taking place at that outlet.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Made by Manager Hanson. Do I have a second? Made by Manager Pasuski. Any discussion? Hearing none, Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
aye,
Manager Delcher.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. The last item I have is a motion to solicit quotes for this J9 outlet project work. The funds just have to be spent by December of this year. So we're looking to put it out for quotes and hopefully award a contractor at our next board meeting.
Okay, do I have a motion?
so moved.
Made by Manager Pasuski. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Seconded by Manager DeBoer. Any discussion? Hearing none. Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
Aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Aye.
Manager Pasuski,
Aye,
Manager Delcher.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you. That's all that I have.
Thank you, Courtney. Item 7, Manager's Report. I still have not had any contact physically with the city or the county. They haven't opened up yet, but I'm thinking maybe next month they will be, so hopefully I can bring something back. Joe, they've had any meetings with the
no,
advisory?
no meetings yet, but there is one scheduled for tomorrow evening, or actually, yeah, tomorrow evening.
Mr. Chair, we do have Laura Cunningham on, and she would like to just discuss a little bit about lake cleanup.
Oh, you bet. Come on, Laura.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can see it too.
Yeah, hey. I am just, I guess, getting on to give everybody an update that we do have a meeting tomorrow. Late April, early May is typically our annual lake cleanup event. And so we are gearing up to set the date for that. I'm sure people have been out enjoying the shoreline, the sidewalks, the walking paths, the fishing. I hear the fishing is phenomenal. So we are set to go ahead and clean up the shoreline now that the ground is a little less squishy. It's a little safer to proceed forward with that lake cleanup event. So I just wanted to let everyone know that we're having the meeting tomorrow to set that date. So I'll keep you posted. Typically it would be either the last weekend in April or the first weekend in May. We used to run it in conjunction with the downtown cleanup event. So I'm not sure if they're having that yet, but we are discussing everything tomorrow. I will make sure to provide the board with an update. We did actually receive a $500 grant last year from Freeborn Mauer Electric Co-op, and we will be utilizing those funds. There was some left over again this year. So that's, you know, just an excellent support for the community from that organization. But I did want to, you know, let the board know and let staff members know that we are planning to do that. I have had a lot of communication coming in, mostly via Facebook and text, about the winter fish kill. There have been a lot of carp that people are noticing, primarily carp. I did stop down at the dam where that catch piece is there and took a few photos yesterday. Some pretty nice size walleyes. A couple of them were on that particular area right on top of the grate. So it does look like a couple of more desirable fish, unfortunately, were affected by that natural phenomena as well. Is there something in particular that we should be doing if people, I mean, do we just leave the fish in the water, or how do you typically advise people to handle that? Because we're actually getting requests from people, you know, if they're wanting to put in their dock and things, they've got large carp near their shoreline. So are we just to leave those there?
So
Andy?
as far as, and I'll try to take that question there, Mr. Chair. You know, as far
Sure.
as, you know, staffing, you know, we've had people, you know, asking us about removal. You know, district staff, we don't, you know, we don't have the capabilities to go in there and clean them up. DNR
Right.
also doesn't have the capability nor the time to clean them up. Yes, the dock renters, if it's in their area, can definitely clean them up. They just have to dispose
Okay.
of them properly. And
Right.
so that would be, you know, digging a hole in their garden or something and putting them in there.
Okay.
You know, the good thing is it is mainly carp. You know, I haven't seen any game fish, but Laura, I believe you if you've seen some walleye on the grates of the spillway there.
Yeah.
What I suspect happened is, you know, most of those were trapped in that Bancroft Bay area, where there is very little volume of water, and it was probably an isolated incident as far as a fish kill. But yeah, the good news is it is only mainly carp. The other thing is, and you know, give it a week or two, and those air bladders will burst, and they will potentially sink to the bottom, is what you know, usually the best outcome. But yeah, but there's definitely some on the shoreline that we're seeing. But yeah, it's just, you know, having the time and staff to be able to do that, and we don't have that right now. So
Right. Okay. I appreciate it. I just wanted to get a, you know, a statement that I can help others understand too. So I did see quite a flock of turkey vultures. We're taking care of a few at the beach, but
we need some more, need more eagles.
yeah, we do. So yeah, I'm thankful that it was primarily carp, and like I said, I've only seen the two, you know, more game species. So I think we're safe there. And I know I've seen a ton of people out fishing the areas that have already had the sediment removal. So I think that as far as winter refuge is concerned, those areas are being, you know, utilized by fish for a safe place to overwinter. So that's great news. The one thing I was going to ask, I believe that we have some gloves and some bags potentially in the storage area with the watershed. So if I could stop down at some time when it's convenient for your staff, just to take a look and see what we have, if we needed to order any additional supplies. Last year we did a virtual, or not a virtual, it was, people were cleaning the lakeshore. They weren't virtually cleaning the lakeshore, but we did a no contact event. So, you know, individuals could contact us beforehand if they wanted to pick up supplies. Otherwise, they provided their own supplies and cleaned for the entire weekend at their, you know, at their leisure, whenever it worked for them. So it's possibility that we would explore some type of model again, where it's no contact, but I thought I could prepare some kits or pick up supplies for families if they wanted to pick some up, if we've got some of that leftover gloves and bags, buckets, that type of thing.
Yep, and Laura, we do have some from last year's event yet, as far as garbage bags.
Okay.
and gloves, so we can assist
Okay,
there.
perfect. Yep, I will get in contact with you. That's really all I have. Our organization has been on a brief hiatus for the pandemic situation, but we're happy to be back meeting and looking forward to providing updates as we move along.
Sounds good, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any manager items?
I have one, Mr. Chairman.
Manager Bakken?
I don't know if there's several programs available, like the payroll protection program. There's some COVID-19 programs, and there's also local government programs. I just want to make sure that that if there's any that we are eligible for, that we would apply for them. So if we could, put that on the agenda for next month to make sure we covered our bases there. Thank you.
Good thought, Al. Any other manager items?
I'd just like to give props to the staff. I mean, seeing all the improvements in the lake and all the ice fishing that went on this winter and everything, it's very noticeable to the community, everything that our team has done to improve, all the water here and the changes on Fountain Lake, all the improvements. So great job, staff. Community really appreciates it. You're making a big improvement to our community moving forward. So thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any other managers? Okay, with that, with upcoming meetings, scheduled Shell Rock River Watershed District Special Board Meeting tentatively set up for April 29th at 8:30.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have potentially 2 meetings. I'm trying to keep them together, to make sure that we protect your guys' valuable time. We're looking for a special board meeting, again, April 29th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Again, this will be to approve construction contracts. The reason we're having a special meeting to approve construction contracts is we are on some tight time frames as far as funding. On some of those, the Miller Track especially, funding for that project is up on June 30th. So we got to make sure we get those contracts awarded and get the work done before those deadlines. So that's why you see the special board meeting. Also following that board meeting at 9 o'clock, district staff is looking to have a workshop again with the managers to discuss the issues that we noted above in the agenda. So again, trying to conserve your guys' time, having those back to back. So if those work for everybody, please let us know. But that's the tentative date that we've set, unless anybody sees any issues with those dates. That's kind of what we're planning for right now.
The date besides the 29th?
What was that, Joe?
What's the date besides the 29th?
Right now,
Go ahead, Andy.
Mr. Chair, right now we have no other dates set. We're just trying to see if we can get quorum and as many of you there as we possibly can. If it does not work for a majority of you or all of you, we can look at secondary dates. But it's always tough trying to, especially in this COVID world, trying to get everybody lined up to be able to meet on the same date. So right now we have it for April 9th, which is a Thursday, starting at 8:30. And then special or the workshop at 9 a.m.
Works for me.
It'll be a virtual meeting again, I presume.
Yes, we're looking at those to be virtual. However, staff will be working on setting up our conference room to start hosting in-person meetings again. We're trying to work it out so that those that don't want to meet in person can still meet by Zoom. We need to make sure that we can follow the CDC's guidelines on, distancing. But again, staff will be working on that, getting that set up so we can still go live and present, to the public so we can be transparent. With that being said, again, those that do not want to attend at this time can still attend through a Zoom link, but those who want to meet in person, we can. We will not be able to allow the public in just because we cannot potentially meet those CDC guidelines as far as distancing, but as far as staff and board managers, we feel we can meet those distancing rules within our conference room.
Sounds good. Then we'll have our regular board meeting comes up May 11th. And then our annual meeting, what are we looking at for that, or what's going on?
Yes, Mr. Chair, usually we have our annual meeting in March. However, due to the pandemic, we have not set a time for that. We're hoping to have it later in the year, potentially somewhere August, September, October timeframe. Hopefully things are back to a more normal basis, and we can meet in a bigger room and have more public there to be able to hear what projects we've done, what projects we are looking at doing in 2022. So right now we have not set a date for that. Just know that we're working on it and potentially have that later this fall.
Okay. Do we have anything else from the managers? Any questions? Or staff?
Nope, I just want to thank you for your time today. I know it was a long one. I know some of the resolutions were a long one, but it is that time of year where staff has to start getting ready to put some boots on the ground, and we need approvals from you guys to do that. So thanks again for your time.
Yeah, I was there for a while. I thought I'd have to have Leah take a break when she was reading all that. This isn't even close to being done yet. A lot. Good job, all of you. Anyway, do I have a motion to adjourn then?
So
Made by Manager DeBoer. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Manager Kramer. I'm getting good at reading lips. Anyway, any discussion? No. Leah, please call roll.
Manager Pistorius,
aye.
Manager Kramer,
Aye.
Manager Bakken,
Aye.
Manager DeBoer,
Aye.
Manager Hanson,
Cigar time.
Manager Pasuski, Manager Delger.
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Yep, thanks, everyone.